This conference will now be recorded.
ॐ शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। Namaste. Now we will see the meaning of the namas in verse 12 of Shri Vishnu Sahasranama. The verse is like this. वसुर्वसुमना सत्यः समात्मा संमितः समः अमोघः पुण्डरीकाक्षो वृषकर्मा वृषाकृतिः. The namas in this verse, as per Sri Shankaracharya's commentary, are 9 in number. They are like this: Vasuhu, Vasumanaha, Satyah, Samatma, Sammitah, Asammitah, Samah, Amoghah, Pundarikakshah, Vrishakarma, Vrishakritihi. Now let's see the meaning of each of these. The first one is Vasuhu. Vasanti Sarvabhutani Atra Teshu Ayamapi Vasati iti va Vasuhu. The one in whom all beings reside, or the one who also resides in them, is Vasu. The term Vasu is derived from the root Vasa. Vasa Nivase is the root. So based on that, the commentary is given. The one who is the substratum of the existence of all beings, and also the one who resides in the heart of each and every being. So both Sarva Vyapi and Antaryami, these two meanings are derived from the term Vasu. There is a second interpretation also. Vasunam pavakaschasmi ityukto va vasuhu. So in the Bhagavad Gita, we see that Bhagavan says that I am Agni among the Vasus. The one who is stated thus is Vasu. There is a class of deities or divinities called as Vasu, the Ashtavasus. So these, among these 8 Vasus, I am Pavaka or Agni, he says. So what are the 8 Vasu divinities? We see that Ap, Dhruvaha, Somaha, Dhavaha or Dharaha, Anilaha, Analaha or Pavaka, Pratyusha, Prabhasa. So these are the 8 Vasu divinities, and among them Bhagavan says that I am Pavaka or Agni. So most of these divinities are associated with light, and hence so these divinities connected to light. Among them Bhagavan says I am Agni. So that can also be taken as the meaning of the term Vasu. The next nama Vasumanaha. वसु शब्देन धनवाचिना प्राशस्त्यं लक्ष्यते। प्रशस्तं मनो यस्य सः वसुमनाः रागद्वेषादिभिः क्लेशैः मदादिभिः उपक्लेशैश्च यतो न कलुषितं चित्तं ततः तन्मनः प्रशस्तम्. So this is a bit of a detailed commentary. We will see the meaning. Vasu means wealth. That indicates something which is excellent or praised. The one whose mind is excellent or praised is called as Vasumanas or Vasumanaha in Sanskrita. The mind which is not maligned by afflictions like passion, hatred, etc., and also subsidiary afflictions like haughtiness, that is ahankara, darpa, is indeed excellent or praised. So, the word, the nama has Vasu and Manas. So, Vasu means money. Acharya here says that money can be taken to refer wealth. Wealth refers to that which is respected. Generally, going by the general understanding, we see that everyone respect wealth. So, Vasu here has to be taken to mean that which is respected or praiseworthy. So Vasu and Manas. So the one whose mind is praiseworthy or respected is Vasu Manas. So what makes the mind praiseworthy? A mind which is bereft of, Acharya says that the mind which is bereft of raga, dvesha, avidya, asmita, abhinivesha. So these are the afflictions stated in the Yoga Shastra. Avidya, ignorance, asmita, ahankara, and then raga is passion, and dvesha is hatred. So the one whose mind is bereft of these, and also these are kleshas, and mada, matsarya, kama, krodha, lobha, moha. So these are the six known, very well known enemies of human beings, like pride, desire, anger, and so on. So these are the upakleshas. So a mind which is free from these impurities is indeed a praiseworthy mind, a worship-worthy mind, a valuable mind, and that means that is the meaning of the term Vasumanas or Vasumanaha. The next term Satyaha. This term Satyaha has been given four interpretations. Let us see them one by one. Avitatha rupatvat Satyaha. Satyam jnanam anantam brahma iti shrutehe. The one whose form is not illusionary, the one whose form is real. Avitatha means not illusionary or uh, not untrue. So that is avitatha, which indicates real. So who is the reality? The Paramatman is the reality, and that is the meaning of the term Satyaha. And even in the Brahmananda Valli, we see Paramatman being described as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. The Brahman is Satyam, Jnanam, and Anantam. So, based on this, the term Satya has been explained as the real entity, Satya Paramatma. The next interpretation is Murta Murtatmakatvatva Satcha Tyacha Bhavat iti Shrutehe. So in the one who is both in the form of the manifest and also the unmanifest. In the same Brihadaranyaka, sorry, Brahmananda Valli, we see Satchatyacha Bhavat. There it has been explained that Sat refers to the manifest, that which is perceivable, and Tyat refers to the unmanifest, that which is but is not perceived. So, Paramatman pervades both that which is perceived and that which is not perceived, that which has manifested itself to our senses and that which has not manifest to our senses. There are so much which doesn't meet the eye, which is not perceived by us. So all that is Paramatman, both the subtle and also the gross, the Paramatman is there. So that is the meaning of the word Satya, the one that pervades Sat and also Tyat, which is manifest and also unmanifest. That is Paramatman, and that is the meaning of the term Satya. This is the second interpretation. The third interpretation is interesting and a rare interpretation. Saditi pranaha तीत्यन्नं yamiti divakaraha tena प्राणान्नादित्यरूपत्वात् सत्यः सदिति प्राणास्तीत्यन्नं यमित्यसावादित्यः इति श्रुतेः. Sat, the word Satya has three components, and based on that, the meaning is given here. Sat refers to prana, Ti refers to Anna, and Yam refers to the sun. Hence, the one who is in the form of Prana, Anna, and Aditya is Satya. So, this is from an ancient text, which is Aitareya Aranyaka, that gives the meaning of the word Satya in these three divisions. We can observe that Prana, Anna, and Aditya are the three essential components of our existence. Without these three, there is no existence. Without Prana, without Anna, and without Aditya. And it is to be noted that all the three are interconnected. Prana is nourished by Anna, and Anna again emerges from Divakara. So all these three, the sun. So all these three essential aspects, that is Prana, Anna, and Divakara, are interconnected, and this interconnection of these three and their interconnection is called as Satya, and our existence is based on this, and hence this is the reality, this is the truth, and this is Satya according to Aitareya Aranyaka. The fourth and final interpretation to the term Satya is Satsu Sadhutvadva Satyaha, the one who is good to the pious, the virtuous. He is Satya. Bhagavan says that Dharma Samsthapanarthaya Sadhunam Rakshanaya Dushtanam Vinashaya. So Paritranaya sadhunam. So that meaning is given to the term Satya, the one who protects, the one who is good, the one who is gracious and benevolent to the good, one who protects the good sadhus. He is Satya. That aspect of Bhagavan is described as Satya. Thus, we see that the term Satya has four meanings. Satya was presented as Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, the real entity that exists. That is the first meaning. The second meaning to the term Satya is that which pervades both the manifest and the unmanifest. And then the third meaning to Satya was that which is critical to our existence. That is Prana, Anna, and Aditya. That is Satya. All these three put together is Satya. And finally, the one that protects, the one who is good to the noble and the virtuous. He is Satya. The fourth term, Nama, Samatma. Samaha Atma Manaha Yasya Ragadveshaadibhihi Adushitaha Saha Samatma. The one whose mind is steady, balanced, being not polluted by passion, hatred, etc. He is Samatma. So, this was again this meaning we can connect it and associate with the term Vasumanaha, the one whose mind is praiseworthy, being not afflicted by raga, dvesha, etc. He is Vasumanaha and he is Samatma. Samaha, Atma, Manaha. Here the term Atma means Manas, the mind, the one whose mind is not polluted by raga, dvesha, etc. Even in the Yoga Sutras, we see Ishvara Swarupa is being described as Klesha Karma Vipaka Ashayaihi Aparamrishtaha Purusha Visheshaha Ishvaraha. Who is Ishvara? Ishvara is the one who is not touched by kleshas, which is raga, dvesha, avidya, asmita, etc. And karma. So karma comes from kleshas, and then vipaka, the results of the karma, and ashaya, the samskaras or the vasanas that are left by karma. So all these do not touch the Paramatman, and hence he is Ishvara, and that Ishvara is described by the term Samatma. That is the one interpretation to the term Samatma. We have one more interpretation given by Acharya. Sarveshu bhuteshu samaha ekaha atma va. Sama atmeti vidyat iti shrutehe. The one Atman that is equally present in all being. So even in a Pandita and even in a Pamara, so the same Atman is present. So Sarva Bhuteshu Samaha. So here in the second context, the term Samaha means Ekaha, the one abiding pure consciousness in all beings. That is also Samatma. To this, Acharya quotes from the Kaushitaki Upanishad, Sama Atmeti Vidyat. So, the one whose mind is steady, balanced, unafflicted or unpolluted by raga, dvesha, he is Samatma, the one abiding pure consciousness that exists in all beings. That is also the meaning of the term Samatma. The next term, Asammitaha. सर्वैः अपि अर्थजातैः परिच्छिन्नः मितः सर्वैः अपरिच्छिन्नः अमितः असम्मितः. The one who is limited by all objects around is mita. The one who is not limited by anything is unlimited, asammita, immeasurable, immense. So normally we measure objects. So one object is measured either in the vastness or the expanse or the quantity. All that is measured, one object is measured by the other. We have a scale to measure each and every object. So it is limited in measure. All the objects are measurable. So those that are measurable is a mita, the one for whom there is no measure. He is amita or asammita, the one who is beyond all measures. He is asammitaha, which is sarvavyapi. The next term is samaha. सर्वकालेषु सर्वविकाररहितत्वात् samaha. At all times, the one who does not attain any modification or change is sama. So at all at any time, past, present, or future, sarva vikara, all kinds of modification, the one who does not undergo any modification at any time, who is always a Satchidananda Swarupa, he is Samaha. There is a second interesting interpretation to the term Samaha. Maya Lakshmya Saha Vartate iti va Samaha. It is known that the term Ma means Lakshmi. So Maya Saha Vartate, the one who is seen or who exists along with Ma, is Sama. The one who is with or who is the consort of Ma is Sama. So in the case of Bhagavan Shiva, we see Somaha. Umaya saha vartate iti Somaha. Here, Maya saha vartate iti Samaha. The Lord or the consort of Goddess Lakshmi is Samaha. The next term is Amoghaha. Pujitaha, Stutaha, Samsmritaha va Sarvaphalam dadati na vritha karoti iti Amogha. The one who on worshipping or the one who on being praised or remembered grants all fruits, the one who never fails is the unfailing, Amogha. The term Amogha means the unfailing. So why is Bhagavan called as Amogha? Because on worshipping, Pujita, Stutaha, on chanting verses, on him, on praising him, and on or just remembering him. Samsmritaha sarva phalam dadati. Whichever is desired, he grants. On just being remembered or a few words of nama of Bhagavan being uttered or worshipped in the proper manner, he gives all results. Never does he fail, and the one who never fails is Amogha. The one who never fails his devotees is Amogha, the Bhagavan. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktyupahritam. So whatever is being offered, I accept by the whatever is offered by the devotees, I accept and grant their desires. That is what Bhagavan says even in the Bhagavad Gita. There is another interpretation to the term Amogha. Avitatha sankalpatvam Tatva Amogha Satyakamaha Satyasankalpaha iti Shrutehe. The one whose resolve never fails. That is, the one by his mere resolve or mere thinking unfailingly creates whatever he wants. So his powerful thoughts. So his mere thinking will be translated into action. His mere sankalpa, his mere resolve will be translated into action. So such uh, Paramatman is called as Amogha. Even in the Vedas, we see Satyakamaha, Satyasankalpaha. So the mere desire of him becomes a reality. The mere resolve of him becomes reality. So we see in the Upanishads also. So kamayata bahusyam prajayeti. So akamayata. So he merely desires that let me become many in the form of the all the beings. So his mere desire translates into the manifestations. So, such Paramatman, whose resolve, whose desires never fail, is Amogha. So, this is the second interpretation of the term Amogha. The next term is Pundarikakshaha. हृदयस्थं पुण्डरीकम् अश्नुते व्याप्नोति तत्रोपलक्षितः पुण्डरीकाक्षः यत्पुण्डरीकं पुरमध्यसगस्थम् इति श्रुतेः. The one who pervades the lotus of the heart, the one who is seen there by meditators, is Pundarikaksha. So, in the Vedas, in the yogic texts also, we see that there is a lotus in the heart, in the Deha Madhya. There is a lotus, and those who meditate, they see him, they visualize him, and they have the sakshatkar of the Paramatman in the Hridaya. So the one who pervades the Hridaya Pundarika. Pundarika Aksha. Aksha here is derived by Acharya as Ashnute Vyapnoti. The one who pervades is Aksha. What does he pervade? He pervades the lotus of the heart. So who the one who exists in the lotus of the heart and the one who is seen tatra upalakshitaha by those who focus their minds, he is attained, he is seen there, and hence he is called as Pundarikaksha. The one who pervades the lotus of the heart is Pundarikaksha. That is one interpretation of the term. The other interpretation is Pundarikakare Ubhe Akshini Asya Itiva. The one whose both eyes are beautiful in the shape of the lotus. So, Akshi here refers to the eyes. The two eyes of the Paramatman is as beautiful as the lotus. And hence, the lotus eyed Lord is also Pundarikaksha. So, these are the two interpretations to the term Pundarikaksha. The next term is Vrishakarma. Dharma lakshanam karma asyeti Vrishakarma. So the one whose actions are characterized by dharma is Vrishakarma. So already while explaining the term Vrusha Kapihi, previously the term Vrusha Parshanat Kamanam Saha Dharmaha, so that which um, showers all the objects of desire. So that is dharma. By following the path of dharma, one attains all that is desired, and hence dharma was described as vrusha previously while explaining the term vrusha kapihi. So the same meaning for the word vrusha is given dharma, and dharma lakshanam karma. So all his actions are for the protection or for upholding the dharma. He is vrushakarma. That's why we see the Bhagavan being described elsewhere as Shashvata Dharma Gopta, the one who is the eternal protector of Dharma. His actions are there only for the protection of Dharma, and hence he is described as Vrushakarma. The 10th and the last term in this verse is Vrushakritihi. Dharmartham Akritihi Shariram Yasya Saha Vrushakritihi. Dharma Samsthapanarthaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge Iti Bhagavad Vachanat. The one whose body or the form is for dharma is vrushakritihi. Again, the term vrusha means dharma. Akriti refers to shariram. So, the one who takes various shariras or various forms in various avatars, in various incarnations, the Bhagavan assumes various forms. Why does he assume those various forms? Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Vamana, Narasimha, Rama, Krishna. He has assumed various forms, akritis. Why has he assumed? For vrusha, for dharma, for protection and establishment of dharma. He has assumed those various forms, and hence Bhagavan Narayana is called as Vrushakritihi. And in the Bhagavad Gita also we see Dharma Samsthapanarthaya Sambhavami. Whenever I take birth in every yuga, why do I take birth? Dharma Samsthapanarthaya. All the Sambhava or Avatara of Bhagavan in each and every yuga is for the establishment of Dharma, and hence that Tatparya or that Rahasya of the avatara of the Bhagavan is uh, in there. This word Vrishakriti is pregnant with that meaning, that rahasya of avatara rahasya is of Bhagavan is indicated by this term Vrishakriti. So these are the 10 terms from this verse. Thus, in this, with this 10 terms in till the 12 verses that we have seen thus far, 114 namas of Bhagavan Narayana has been discussed. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu.